Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a book that has seriously become a financial lifeline for so many people, Erin Lowry's Broke Millennial. This is all about dropping the stress and, finally getting a handle on your money.
Does that sound familiar? I don't know. Money just really stresses me out. I mean, that one sentence from the book just perfectly captures this feeling that holds so many of us back. And that's the exact problem Broke Millennial's here to help us solve.
So just how big is this problem? Well, Lowry tells the story about her friend, Lizzie. Now get this, Lizzie was 23, super smart, and had absolutely zero debt. You'd think she'd be totally cool with her finances, right? But nope. Anytime the topic of money came up, she would just freak out. And the thing is, Lizzie's story isn't some one-off thing. It's what so many of us are going through. And we're not just talking about some vague feeling of being stressed out. This kind of anxiety has real-world consequences. Lowry makes a great point about how it literally stops you from taking risks, like going after a dream career or asking for that raise you deserve. It keeps you stuck, just trapped in that exhausting cycle of living paycheck to paycheck with no way out. Okay, so how do we actually break out of that cycle of fear? The book argues it has nothing to do with becoming a math whiz. It all kicks off with a really simple but incredibly powerful shift in how you think about money. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the book's entire message. See, money isn't just for paying rent or buying stuff. It's a tool. It is probably the most powerful tool you have to build the life you actually want to live. In other words, it's all about freedom. So, what does that freedom actually look like in real life? Well, it's having the power to say, I'm out to a job you can't stand. It's the ability to grab a backpack and just go see the world. Or maybe it's the courage to finally start your own thing. It's even just having the peace of mind to retire someday without having to stress about every single dollar. That's what having your financial life together really gives you. Okay, changing your mindset is huge, but Lowry gets it. You need to see some real results and fast to stay motivated. So the book is just loaded with these quick, actionable things you can do like right now. Let's talk about 3 of the best ones.
First one up, where is your cash sitting? So many of us just use the same big bank our parents did. But honestly, those traditional banks often pay a ridiculously low interest rate. I'm talking like 0.01%. It's practically nothing. But a modern online bank, they can offer 100 times that amount.
Just think about that for a second. If you have $10,000 in savings, making that one simple switch is the difference between earning one single dollar in interest over a whole year or $100. It's your money. Don't let the bank keep it. Okay, quick win number 2 is all about dodging the credit card minimum payment trap. Lowry tells this story about a guy named Kenneth. He buys a nice TV, the bill shows up, and that minimum payment is just $33. Seems totally manageable, right? Well, not so fast. The math here is just, wow. If he only pays that minimum, it's going to take him almost 5 years and cost him over $700 in interest alone. That's more than half the price of the TV itself. But look, if he just bumps his payment up to $50 a month, he pays it off in half the time and saves $350. That's a tiny change with a massive, massive payoff.
And that brings us to our third quick win, which is all about one thing, awareness. It starts with a question that can be a little scary to ask yourself. Do you actually know where all your money is going every month? So Lowry tells this story about a friend who decided, okay, I'm going to track every penny for just 1 week. And her big discovery was kind of shocking. She was just mindlessly spending almost $20 a week on bottled water at her office. That's $80 a month on water? Finding these little money leaks can seriously free up cash you didn't even realize you had. All right, so once you've made those quick fixes, it's time to start thinking bigger, playing the long game. After you've plugged the leaks and switched your bank, the book gets into the really big stuff, like, retirement. The book could not be more clear about this. If your job offers a 401k with an employer match, you cannot, under any circumstances, ignore it. And why is that? Because as one financial planner in the book says, it is literally free money. The best way to think about an employer match is that it's not some kind of bonus. It's actually part of your salary. So if your company says they'll match 4% of what you put in, that's a 4% raise that you only get if you participate. Turning that down is basically like walking up to your boss and saying, hey, no thanks, you can just keep that raise. Who would do that? So, from changing how you think, to banking smarter, to planning for your future, you can see how these are all the little building blocks.
It's about taking these small, consistent steps that, over time, build a really solid financial foundation.
Look, you don't have to become some kind of financial genius overnight. The goal here isn't about being perfect. It's just about making progress. It's about feeling empowered instead of feeling helpless. It's about, well, finally getting your financial life together.
And that really brings us full circle, right back to that core idea. Money gives you choices. So, I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. Now that you have these tools, what's the very first choice you're going to make to start moving your own financial life forward?